tell me one time she had a, I had a chick tell me one time she had 100 grand stashed in the account. I said, what the fuck? Yeah.
Anyway, we gonna move on.
Damn.
We're not jumping into that because we could talk about that's a whole other half an hour. So we're not gonna jump into that. Are all religions, this sounds like a cipher question, are all religions simply different paths to the same God?
Oh, that was a Nico question.
Oh, facts. Who could start that? Cipher.
Nope. I don't agree with that.
How you feel about it? Like,
Well, I'm a spiritual person and I believe in energies. And at the end of the day, if you're following something that is built on a foundation of corruption and murder and deceit, how could it be? How could they all be? I mean, it depends on it depends on what God you're talking about. Because I feel like my God is different than their God. Whoever they serving, they're serving somebody who sit backs and is good with people murdering and deceiving people in the name of his name at the end of the day. So maybe they all their religions is tied into the same God, but the energy that I serve, I don't feel like has no part to that at the same time. So yeah, I don't believe that. I believe maybe some people think that it all ties into the same God, but I believe like when you're worshiping tainted energy, like you're part of whatever comes with that at the end of the day. So nah, I don't believe it goes into the same God. I believe some people think that, but nah. As a person that believes in energy and how energy works and how things are manifest at the end of the day, nah, I don't believe that. Now, hold on. Before I'm sorry. Now, the foundation, I believe the foundation and the source of how most religions were developed, it comes from the same place and the same, you know what I'm saying? Like if you could trace it, most of it all back to Africa, but over time, nah, I believe those energies split.
Tosh.
I know you was gonna call me. I wasn't even focused. For me, I feel like he said, most of them got the same origin. I think over time, I think people did a lot of stuff to do like classism and stuff like that to separate everything. But I think the core message, I think somebody was talking about this earlier, like there's a lot of metaphors and people go by taking stuff literally, and I don't think it's supposed to be taken literally. I think it's supposed to be dissected. So me personally, I think there's supposed to be one message, but I think over time, different people, different origins, that all created something completely different, and I don't think it works.
Yeah, it equates to what it's supposed to be.
It doesn't. So I think that's just that for me.
Tiff Squared.
That was something I always thought about because the message is almost basically the same. A lot of origin stories are almost exactly the same, but little stuff is different. But,
so what was the question again?
yeah, that was like me. I wasn't focused. I wasn't focused.
All religions simply different paths to the same God.
Oh, okay. So I thought I was thinking about it, and then I lost track and started doing something else. But I don't know. I really don't know. Because people interpret God differently. People interpret they interpret the Bible, people interpret things so differently. When you speak to people and you try to get the education behind their religion, we know that they're leading to a God, but some people just interpret things so differently. So I don't know how to respond. I don't know. I really don't. Huh?
You good? You done?
Yeah.
Ramel?
how to answer this question. I mean, I believe what she said also. I think at some point, I think it does connect some way, somehow, but that's just how I feel.
Okay. Midnight.
I'm a spiritual person. I do believe in energy also, but to me, I feel like there's only one God. I feel like depending on like certain religions, they could be very deceptive of how they like guide and preach to people in their church to make them believe in one thing and it's not. So I believe Cypher and Tasha, this I believe it is supposed to be for one God, but at some point people lose focus, people get knocked off the path. But I believe like in the very beginning, yes, everybody believes in one God.
So speaking on spirituality versus religion, I believe fundamentally that there's an intersection between science and nature and the constructs of religion. But when you boil it down to just spirituality, true spirituality leads to one source, right? However you interpret that source, right? If I'm in the middle of the ocean somewhere and I'm a castaway, right? In my last moments, right? When I'm looking around for help, I'm gonna pray to God, right? Then I'm gonna call for my mother, then I'm gonna call for my ancestors, and then I'm gonna call for my source, right? Which is even more universal and grounded than me praying to God, because as my life ebbs away, I'm gonna be faced with the fact that I'm returning to source. And I think that's what true spirituality is a return to source. And so, yes, I think ultimately everyone is faced with that one source, but that differs from religion.
Hey, Natia. How are you?
Hi.
So the question is, and I'll give you a second to answer. We'll go to somebody else, come back to you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Are all religions simply different paths to the same God? Sleep.
Give me a second.
Oh, you want me to answer that?
Sure.
Yes, I believe so. God has over 100 and something names, so I feel like nobody's wrong when they worshiping their master. It's just that everybody have their different beliefs.
All right. So Emmy says, if we're speaking of religion, then I feel the intention is to reach the same God. But when we speak of spirituality, then many waver and distort it to their own. I agree with that as well, because if you look at most of these books, these Bibles, the Qurans, the King James, the Queen James, this, that, they all kind of have too many similarities. And it's just like, I just feel like they're all written. They're all like cliff notes of the other. Like when somebody was writing one, they were looking at the other. I don't know who's the original book. I don't care, but they all.
I don't believe in the Bible.
Huh?
I don't know neither. I don't believe in the Bible.
Me neither.
I don't think the Quran and I don't think the Quran and the Bible has that many similarities.
I don't
way
think
too
that
many
either.
stories. It's way too many, and take it as a person who grew up in a Christian household at first, and then my father turned Muslim, and I started to study that religion at a young age. Those two books are totally different. The messages in those two books are totally different. There's a lot of and then we're talking about different languages and like she said, interpretations, and I just cannot fuck with anything at the end of the day. When you look back at history, when you have Muslims who killed 90 million Africans under the name of Islam, and then you turn around and you have Christians who enslaved people for over 400 years, and ripped people away from their homes and killed whatever number of Americans and African Americans, and still to this day enslave them under the name of that religion, that cannot be a universal source. Like if you look at their holy lands, they're all in turmoil. Wherever you go, Jerusalem, whatever the Holy Land and all these places are supposed to be, they're all at war at the end of the day. That cannot be of God. In my opinion, that cannot be of God.
It ain't. It's too much man. It's too much man in these religions. Too many. It's too much. It's too much.
You gotta think like this when you deal with religion. When you deal with religion, it's like let's say you dealing with the KKK. People don't realize that's a religion of their own.
Exactly.
So when you deal with that, you have to, like I said, when you read the Bible, you have to decipher everything for yourself. You cannot say, oh, this is what happened, or this is your assumption. You have to, and if you talk to every pastor or every whatever, they're gonna tell you different messages from that chapter. So if you and I'm gonna tell you one thing. I want you to think about this. You have to think about this. Think about this one part. When you read the Bible, or if you want to read the Quran, I never read the Quran, but if you read the Bible, even if you read the Quran, the intellect in them books are mind-blowing. We still having people having problem today to match that intellect. You have to think about that. The world is built around math. People have to think about that.
Yeah.
People don't think like that. So yeah, it's easy not to believe. That's the easy part. But the hard part is to believe. Because if you think about it, the world is built around math, and the intellect in them books are still are not matched. As much vocabulary they built already to this day, you still can't match or decipher some of the words that's in the Bible that's broken down in English. That's some real.
I'm glad you said that, because that's what I meant about there's certain fundamentals, there's certain things you're never going to get around, right? Do you know what I mean? That there is a divine creator, because if you look at nature, right, it's all math. You know what I mean? It's all math and science, right? Even the petals of a flower. And
religion
I think
tells you to stay away from that, though.
I don't, but
what I'm saying?
Religion is a man-made construct. So that's what I'm saying. I'm spiritual, not religious, because religion has been used in different ways. And the important part of what Sleeps is saying is that there's knowledge that has been stolen, right? Do you know what I mean? There's knowledge, and we know this. There's knowledge vast knowledge that has been stolen from us. And that's what I'm telling y'all to watch Lovecraft Country. Sorry, I got to plug it one more time. There's knowledge that has been stolen, but it all goes back to certain fundamental truths that you can't get away from, right? There's things that we can't conceive of, like multiverses, right? We here on planet Earth and what we know as the year 2020, right? But there's other things going on. Time is a continuum. It goes backwards and forwards and in circles of blah.
Everything is a connected energy.
Exactly. And none of us dictate that. Right? You know what I mean? But if you want to look at if reality is based on fact, you can extract that. And one last point I'll make, and this is what I say to people whenever we get in that kind of like, is the Bible real or whatever like that, or what's more valid, science or the Bible? And I say I don't see a conflict between the two, because just like in the story of Genesis in the Bible, when God said, "Let there be light," that's the same thing as science's Big Bang theory, right? Do you know what I mean? It's the same thing if you counterimpose them both. God said let there be light, or the universe was created from a Big Bang. It's the same story. So I don't have to, necessarily, I don't think it's a contradiction.
I just think it's easier not to believe. That's the easy part, is not to believe.
But it's about what you believe in, bro. If
let's
just say God name, like, let's just say somebody just from, like you said, there's been knowledge that's been stolen, right? Knowledge that's been stolen. Let's just say somebody just created the name. So I don't want to say Jesus. I don't want to use Allah. I don't want to disrespect anybody's religion. But let's just use the word fucking Tony, right? That word was created with the intent of evil, disguised around truth. Because the
Right.
biggest deception, the biggest way to deceive a person is to give them a little bit of the truth. So
Right.
let's just say Tony was given the name of God. Like instead of Jesus or instead of Allah, we was given the name Tony at the end of the day. But he was created by the people who stole the verses or who reconstructed the Bibles and the Qurans, and that was given to us as a foundation of evil, surrounded by the truth.
Right.
So now everybody's talking Tony, 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 Tony. If you believe in energy, you're feeding something that was built on the foundation of evil, regardless if you even if you interpret the truth or you see the truth that's around it. If it was built on a foundation of evil, you are feeding that. You're feeding that evil energy without even knowing it. It's just like America. No American right now could step back and say that we don't contribute to the things that America does in other countries. We are just to blame as America because we continue to pay our taxes. We continue to let these people do the things that they're doing and turn a blind eye to it. So at the end of the day, we're feeding the energy of an evil America that goes to other countries and enslave other people. So it's the same thing when it comes to speaking the name of God at the end of the day. If you don't know where that name originated from, why that name was given to you at the end of the day, you could be feeding a whole tainted energy that you don't even know. So that's why I said, as far as spirituality comes, and as far as chanting names and calling names, I don't do that because I don't know where these names originated from. You feel what I'm saying? These names were just given to me in a book, and somebody said that this is God, or this is God's son, or this is the person you're supposed to be calling. Half of these books that were written in other languages were written in languages that our people didn't speak.
I'm gonna give you something better.
We didn't
I'm gonna give you
translate
something
that.
better. I'm gonna give you something better.
We didn't even
You got-
interpret. We didn't even interpret the King James Bible, our modern day Bible, like that was given to us. We wasn't that. We didn't translate that. That Bible was given to us, interpreted for us, and told us what was
that's a
in
New
that
Testament.
book.
Yeah, that's a New Testament.
Exactly. That's what I
That's a
mean.
New Testament. Yeah, but
So
I'm gonna give you something better.
That's my take on it.
I'm gonna give you something better because when
Wait, hold on,
people
before
say,
you go, please. Someone in the chat, Ralph said it was rewritten for control.
Yep.
The Bibles and all that, which is definitely a fact. But go ahead, Sleep.
I'm not gonna argue any of that. But what I am gonna say is that when people say Jesus, right? Nobody, if you read the Bible, if you actually read the Bible never said Jesus' name. If y'all look at it, it never said no name. I mean, his name is spoken, but there was a quote that my name will be spoken 1,000 years later. That's all I would say. So it's like I said, you have to read in between the lines. That's between the lines.
Right.
So
but there's other people that say that Yahweh is the name.
Hold up. Did you say read in between the lines? That's in between the lines?
I know that sounds crazy.
That's math, though.
Real.
That's math, though.
I'm just saying.
That's math, though.
I'm just. We didn't let Natia the Grinch go. I would love to hear what you have to say, love.
Okay. I'm gonna kind of I'm gonna make it short. I just feel like, everybody has their beliefs when it comes to religious spirituality. I also am spiritual, not religious. I was semi-raised in the church in a sense, like, I've been in the choirs and things like that. I have my own beliefs when it comes to, how I just, I know God got me when it comes to certain situations. I have a certain, belief in good energy. But I actually was relating it more or less like just to get to the point of the question, as far as like, do we all go, like, are we all using different religions to go to the same thing? I could say yes if we were to look at it in a sense of music. We all have our versions of gospel when it comes to how we praise a certain higher power, whether it's, it's different ways, like, but at the end of the day, music is probably the one universal thing that everybody in the world can agree on, brings everybody together for one purpose.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So no matter what type of music, even if you listen to some atheist shit, like you believe in something, it all comes together as for one universal purpose. So we all can come together to believe in one thing, but there's no saying on who that person is. We all just agree that we want a good, positive energy, spirit, you know, in that nature. So that's kind of where I look at it at. Like,
And before we go down a YouTube rabbit hole, I'm that